is coming from. So here we go. This one's getting ready to start off, and the kick will be to that right side, right about the 30, and it'll be fielded there by number 44, and that is Kewan Sumter, and he'll get maybe 1 or 2 on the return.
Sumter's a big, strong kid. When I was principal of Cerro Gordo, I had him in class, and he's real strong, tough-legged kid, but those South Columbus ball players just swarm to the ball. One thing you'll notice about South Columbus, you'll hardly ever see one person on attack. You'll always see 2, 3, and 4, and usually 2, 3, and 4 are grabbing at the football.
So the quarterback tonight for West Columbus will be Tyson, and he has everybody huddled up right now as they come to line. West will start on their own 34-yard line. And actually, no, tonight they're going to use, on this play, they're going to use Nigel Cisse.
Cisse, an all-purpose back, has played pretty much every position in the backfield for West Columbus in the past couple of years.
So instead they flip it out to Tyson, and Tyson's going to sweep wide right, and he's going to carry it up to about the 46-yard line.
Nice play on the outside by the West Columbus tight end and wide receivers. Really turned that corner, sealed it off, and he was able to get some outside traction and pick up a first down for the Vikings.
So West Columbus pulls off 12 yards on 1st and 10, moves the chains, and now we'll start this next series from their own 46-yard line.
And I'll tell you, if I'm Russell Dove, I'm not happy at all. They get a lot of push from my defensive line on that play. They have to come to this one. They're big, strong fellas. They go pretty heavy across that defensive line, and they're going to wear those offensive linemen out if they start getting a push.
So Cisse up under center. He looks over South Columbus defense, and there is a quick snap and handoff, and that one goes up the middle for about 2 yards.
I'll tell you, still not a lot of push by that South Columbus defensive line, but you see the size of those fellas across the middle. I mean, they probably go about 6'2", 6'3", about 250 across the middle, and there's not a lot of defensive lines in the Three Rivers Conference that can say that.
Yeah, so they're actually going to spot it up to the 49, so he'll get 3 yards on 1st and 10, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 7 from the 49-yard line.
Viking offense taking their time. They know as long as they can keep that South Columbus Stallion offense off the field, they can't score. They'll take their time. They're going to milk that clock as much as possible.
Cisse up under center. Snap. Handoff to Tyson. Tyson cuts it back up the middle. Gets to the 50, but then meets a big white line, and back he goes.
Josiah Small, the defensive lineman, stayed home, would not give up on the tackle. He collared him around the waist, and he wasn't letting go. It's actually a smart offensive series by West Columbus. If you'll notice, they're taking every bit of that 30-second clock. They're going to take that thing down. They're going to try and shorten this game.
Yes.
They're going to keep it on the ground, keep that clock moving, force South Columbus to make some plays, maybe take a few chances, and take their shots when they can get them.
3rd and 7. There was no gain on 2nd and 7. Cisse brings them to the line. Still having the 2-man back, 1 receiver split left, and tight end on the right. And there is the quick handoff to number 34, Schrum.
And that's where we talked about penetration from that defensive line. The defensive line from South Columbus all up in that backfield, disrupted the handoff. There was just nowhere to go with that football. And I'll tell you right now, you can't sleep on Cisse. He is a very active back. He's played running fullback and tailback in that offense in the last few years, and he's a threat anytime he touches the ball to take it himself.
Schrum will lose 1 on 3rd and 7, so that brings up a 4th and 8, and they will set up in a punting formation with Tyson as the punter. Tyson's going to have a busy night tonight.
He's going to be a very tired young man when this game is done.
There's a high snap, pulls it down, and the punt is up. Good punt. Pushes Bellamy back to his own about 25-yard line there. West will down it on the 26-yard line.
Dangerous play by that South Columbus running back. He wanted for all the world to pick up that ball, and he saw a streak of blue come across his face and wisely backed up.
So South Columbus will start on their own 25 for their first possession of the night. So big 12-yard gain on 1st down in West's first possession, and then few more run plays. But you get the chains moving, you get some positive yards, and you got to be happy with the first series.
Robbie Spencer, the 3rd-year senior for South Columbus brings the Stallions to the line. Obviously a dual threat. We saw him make some plays on offense and defense, and he's a Stallions punter. So strong offense for South Columbus.
Spencer sets in the gun, and there's a handoff to Bellamy. Bellamy starts right, cuts left, now cuts it back up the middle, and he's still on his feet to the 35. He'll get 10, but he ran about 30.
He's a strong young man. He doesn't look like he's going to be that fast, but he is very elusive in the open field, very shifty, runs low to the ground, and it's really hard to get a firm grasp on him.
So South Columbus picks up 10 on 1st and 10, and now it'll be 1st and 10 from there. Actually, he'll get 12 on that one, and they'll start this one on their own 37-yard line.
Immediately we see South Columbus wanting to ground and pound those big offensive linemen, those shifty, elusive backs, and they're going to try and wear out the West Columbus defense.
Snap directly to Spencer. Spencer keeps it, and Spencer pushes his way up to about the 42-yard line.
I'll tell you, South Columbus looking strong. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. We had them against, I believe it was Red Springs. 2 different backs made Player of the Week, one for WWAY and one for WECT. Very rarely happens in this area, but this shows you how strong that offense is.
2nd down and 5. South Columbus comes. This time, so far, we've seen Spencer stay in that option-style offense. And there's the snap. Quick handoff to Bellamy. Bellamy cuts it up the middle, now breaks out left, breaks it back up the middle, and he's still on his feet over to 50. To the 40, he's got 1 to beat as he tries to cut it in, but they knock him out at the 35-yard line.
I'll tell you, those West Columbus defenders weren't real sure about if they wanted to tackle Bellamy. Bellamy, when he gets ahead of steam going, is a big, powerful young man, real broad upper body, and a lot of people don't look forward to hitting him. They might hit him once or twice in the 1st and 2nd quarters, but by the time they get to the 3rd quarter, they're shying away.
So he'll get it up to the 36-yard line of West Columbus, and it'll be 1st and 10. Spencer snaps. He will keep it himself. Big hole up the middle, and he's all the way still on his feet at the 20. Cuts back at the 15, 10. He's got room, 5, touchdown.
Robbie Spencer making it look easy. I mean, he is deceptively big, too. I just saw him for the first time really look at him. That's a tall, lanky young man, and I'll tell you, he really didn't get a whole lot of hassle up the middle.
No, so on 2nd and 5, Spencer takes it 36 yards on a quarterback sneak, and we're looking at 6-0 here with 7 minutes left in the 1st quarter. South up.
Nothing fancy. South Columbus strictly bread and butter with that option. I mean, it's what you want if you're South Columbus. It's a solid start. And we have the kick is up.
And it's good.
And it's good. So with 7 minutes to go in the 1st quarter, your score is South Columbus 7, West Columbus 0.
We're going to run a quick spot. We'll be right back.
ZCO is sponsored by Parks Thomas and the staff of Riegelwood Mutual Drug. Riegelwood Mutual Drug has been filling prescriptions, advising, and serving customers since 1989. Located just off Highway 7476 at the Columbus-Brunswick line. The Southern Sizzler family.
And we are back here as South Columbus getting ready to kick off. If you're just joining us, this is 89.9 FM WZCO. Well, I'm not sure if we are on. We are them. We've had some internet issues, so we may just strictly be on the internet tonight, so we may not be on radio. Not sure if we're going to make it or not, but South Columbus on their first possession scores quickly, and it is 7-0 here with 7 minutes left in the 1st quarter. And now number 21, Cardenas for South Columbus will kick off.
Exactly what you want if you're South Columbus. Steadily drive it, get in your bread and butter, run your playbook, make sure you're sharp, make sure you don't get anybody hurt, get in and out of here with a win tonight, and move on to conference play. If you're West Columbus, had a decent first set on offense, got the 1 first down. You just got stalled a little bit on offense. Just get back to what you're doing. Take this game, methodically slow it down, and give yourself a chance to be in it at the end.
Waiting on the referee whistle, and there it is. Cardenas looks it over, and the kick is going to be up in the exact same spot. Fielded there by number 44, Sumter, and did he fair catch it?
He called for a fair catch. The referee gets running in from the back saying he did signal for a fair catch.
And this time West Columbus will start on their own 32-yard line.
If you're West Columbus right now, you need to build on what worked for you in the first series. Maybe get that ball to the outside again. They really can't run up the middle against that South Columbus big defensive line. You're going to need to do some dive options, maybe some tosses to try to get that corner to try and soften up those defensive tackles and get them running laterally.
Yeah, they only did it once, but that 12 yards on that sweep to the right, and I would go back to that. Still going to run the one-back set and receiver split wide right and wide left. There's the quick snap, and this time Cisse keeps it, and he will take it. No gain.
I think Cisse was looking to try to hand that ball off. I'm not sure if the running back ran to the wrong side, but Cisse looked around and was like, wait a minute, well, I still have the ball. And I'll tell you, I think you're right. I think what you need to do is you need to start going laterally and get these big defensive lines from South Columbus running sideline to sideline. The one thing about this, this coming night, we got a nice warm evening here in southeastern North Carolina, humid. You want to get those big boys, you want to get them gassed, you want to get their tongue dragging by at least the end of the first half.
Second down and 10 as West Columbus breaks the huddle. 6:18 left here in the first quarter. 7-0 is our score. South leads, and West has the ball for their second opportunity tonight. Cisse up under center. He will look over the right and the left here as he gets ready, and there's the snap, and he pitches it back in to Tyson. Tyson out to number 7, and good room there as he is pushed out of bounds at the South Columbus 40-yard line. Big play on second down and 10.
Smart play calling if you're James Pierce. Saw the South Columbus defense really sucking up on that pitch on the first series. The linebacker Key saw the pitch, he came up and left that man wide open in the flat.
You can
Big play there, 32, 28-yard pass play on second down and 5. And West Columbus finds himself on South Columbus' side of the field.
Again, milking time off that clock, shortening the possession. Limit the time that South Columbus possesses the football. You're going to keep yourself in this game for as long as possible.
I'm definitely stretching them left and right, at least until they get used to it, and then I'm going to go dial up something else. But that's working so far for West Columbus. Cisse gets everybody situated, goes back up under center. And there's the snap, and he will take it, roll to the right. He's got room, turns the corner over the 40 to the 35, and all the way down to the 31-yard line.
As we said in our pregame, Nigel Cisse, very elusive, has played all positions for West Columbus. Either picks up or is right at the sticks for West Columbus. Makes it a manageable second down for West.
That's a second down and 1. Couple big plays back to back, and West Columbus having success this second series moving the ball.
And once again, we talked about they went to the outside. They're starting to go off maybe that right tackle a little bit. I think they found something there as the wide receiver and the tight end are able to seal that corner, and they're able to get to the outside.
Cisse looks over to get the last-minute adjustments. Situated. There's the snap. He takes it himself up the middle, and he will easily have the first down as he pushes the pile all the way to the 25-yard line for a gain of 6.
Cisse, not a small man by any stretch of the imagination, but he burrowed his way for a good 4 or 5 yards. You can see him knees lower the ground, head and shoulders lower the ground, and he just fought his way by keeping his feet turning to get that first down.
Actually spotted back at the 26, but still good for 5. And West Columbus has a new set of downs. It is 5:29 left here in the first quarter. 7-0 is our score. South leads.
In South Columbus right now, they're starting to have a little bit of success on the outside. I think I'm going to think about shooting a linebacker through and trying to catch them and really disrupt the rhythm they're starting to get into.
Since he gets the final plays from the bench, looks over, and here's the snap. Quick handoff there to number 34, Schrum. And there's not much there on 1st and 10.
Schrum ended up walking right into a wall, and there was just nothing happening on that play. South Columbus stacking right at the line. Defense finally getting a little stout, building their necks a little bit.
Second down and 10. Yeah, we may sneak one up the middle on South, but that's going to be about it.
They'll start
very, very few.
look like they're going in different.
You're going to have to run outside.
I think the only way you're going to be able to get that South Columbus defensive line to really run on them out the middle is if you out-condition yourself to beat them. Conditioning going to be a factor, but it's a human night.
Cisse has the play.
Check with me, offense.
Makes some last-minute adjustments as he comes up to the line. Here's the snap, and he will take it, roll to the left, cuts it back up the middle, and that'll be good for maybe one.
Credit the defensive end from South Columbus for staying home. He stayed, and he read his key, and he saw that, and there was nothing doing. I'll tell you, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Good, smart defensive play by the South Columbus Stallions.
There with a spot, that'll actually be, there won't be any gain, so West now will find himself in a 3rd and 10 from the South 26.
More importantly, though, we're 3:45 left to go in the first quarter. South has only possessed the ball once, and this is still a manageable game for West Columbus.
Yeah, West Columbus has to definitely be happy. I mean, they've had first downs. They've moved the ball. They have kept South on the field defense the majority, so you definitely mark them off as success for quarter one. Cisse's ready. There's the quick pitch out to Tyson. Tyson's looking to throw, going to his right, looking to throw, tucks it down, turns the corner, and gets about, we'll give him 3 on 3rd and 10.
Ran 30 yards east and west. He gets credit for 3 for north and south, and unfortunately only the north and south can count.
4th and 7, it's decision time. And down here in high school football, probably not much of a decision because the field goal game is just not real popular.
I'll tell you what, the nice thing I saw was Nigel Cisse with that pitch peeled back and made a nice block to hopefully get his running back to corner. It just didn't quite materialize on the other end. But credit Nigel Cisse, the quarterback, for throwing a heck of a block out there.
Yeah, hoping for a pass, just didn't open, and Tyson tucked it and went and picked up 3. So here we go in a 4th and 7. West Columbus on the South 23-yard line. Cisse is going to, looks like he's going to call a timeout. And they're going to come over and talk about it while we take
timeout, West Columbus.
It doesn't matter what. Even
Viking fans are reminded to support those that support Viking athletics. Folks like Bullard Landscaping and Fairplay. ARE Towing. Those Old Fashioned Barbecue. Smithfield. Stop by and tell them thank you and support those that support Viking athletics.
And we are back here with 2 minutes and 24 seconds left in the first quarter. West Columbus finds himself in a 4th and 7, had called timeout to talk about it. They are down on the South Columbus 23-yard line.
I'll tell you what, credit these kids from West Columbus. They're fighting hard. They're playing very clean football. I don't think I've seen one penalty this entire first quarter. And if you're West Columbus, those are small victories, but they're important victories as you try to rebuild your program.
I just hope you didn't jinx us with that flag comment.
That's just like saying that there's no traffic today, is there?
It's been a game where it's rained. So let's see what Coach Pierce dials up here on 4th and 7. When we left in the first set, they had Cisse in the gun. Looks like they will bring him back up under center.
4th and 6 for the Vikings.
He looks
Let's go
left and
offense.
right, making sure his line is set. There's the snap, pitches it out to Tyson. Tyson's looking to throw. Tyson over the middle. Tyson's got a man. And Tyson is picked off in the end zone by number 14, Rajon Graham.
I'll tell you something. Thank God for Rajon Graham because he had this cornerback on the right-hand side and completely turned around. Graham playing a free safety spot, ranges over and picks the ball off. But for all the world, that cornerback was beat by South Columbus.
And those are the places where an interception
doesn't really hurt you.
They don't hurt you because even though it was in the end zone, they still gain. They still moved the ball 3 yards.
Credit that West Columbus offense, though. They flipped the field. They didn't give South Columbus a strong, quick team, a short field to play on.
Spencer goes up under center for this series, and there is a quick handoff to Buffkin, and Buffkin up the middle to about the 28.
Buffkin, as we said every week we've seen him this year, tough, strong young man, runs low to the ground. And when he gets a head of steam behind him, there's just no stopping him.
So he gets credited for 8 on 1st and 10, and we're at 1:59 left here in the first quarter. Spencer up under center. Takes the snap. Another handoff to Buffkin. Buffkin has a hole on the left side, and he's still going as he is plowing people over, and he's still on his feet. Oh, he drug them all the way up to the 46-yard line of West Columbus.
Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Mr. Buffkin he's a road grader, I like to call him. He's one of those, it doesn't matter who tackles him, it doesn't matter how many tackle him, he's going to keep his feet moving, stay low to the ground, and just plow forward.
So Buffkin gets 26 on 2nd and 2, and he drug a bunch of blue jerseys with him for half the way.
Once again, South Columbus bringing to the line those big road graders. They're not in any hurry. They're taking their time and just run their offense.
Spencer, handoff to Bellamy. Bellamy busts through that hole in the right, and Bellamy is on the ground and the ball's loose.
Referees blew it dead.
Yeah, that looked like the ground calls that one.
I'll tell you, South Columbus is just right now reading what the linebackers from West Columbus are doing. The West Columbus backers are trying to come up, trying to make a play happen, trying to fill a hole, and the running backs are just looking where they're at and running where they ain't.
Yeah, Traquan Bellamy good for 15 on 1st and 10. South on the West 31-yard line. Spencer takes the snap, hands off to number 3, Avion Bellamy, and Bellamy will push it all the way up to the 23-yard line.
I'll tell you, these South Columbus backs are elusive, well trained by Russell Dove and his coaching staff. I mean, just really solid fundamental running backs. They don't do anything fancy. They don't try to get out of their game plan. And credit those backs. They're executing the way that we're taught.
2nd down and 2. Spencer up under center. Snap and hands that one off to
number 7.
Yeah, that was Traquan Bellamy.
Traquan Bellamy. Bellamy deceptively fast. He looks like he's almost jogging going through that first level. He gets to the 2nd level, and he just accelerates, and it's hard to keep up with him.
So that was good for 7 on 2nd and 2. 1st and 10. Down there on the, I guess it's going to be 1st and goal on that spot. And there is a handoff to Traquan Bellamy. Bellamy breaks it right side, and there's the first laundry of the night. As he will go down to the goal line, but I believe we got a hold that'll bring that one back.
After 22.6 seconds ago, we get our first flag. I do apologize if we've jinxed us here. But if you're South Columbus, the way you're running the ball, I don't think that really bothers you all that much.
And that's what we have. So we have a hold there, and that one will bring it back. And we will have 1st and goal now from let's see where the actual spot ends up being. I would guess about the 19.
And I tell you, if I'm Russell Dove right now, I don't mind if they'll run the clock after that penalty call. You really don't have to run a play here. You go into the end of the first quarter and you just go ahead and see where you're at.
Yeah, the South's not going to do that. South's going out for a 2nd and goal. Well, 1st and goal from their own, or from the West 18. There's the snap. There's the handoff to Traquan Bellamy. Bellamy right side, and West snuffs that one out pretty quickly.
Defensive end number 88, Ojai Brownlee, really strong play, stayed home, made a good, solid mid-waist tackle on the running back, and that's how you're going to stop those South Columbus runners.
So 1st and goal, they gain 5, and to start the 2nd quarter, they will be on the West 13. We will take a break.
Tonight's Columbus County High School sports broadcast on 89.9 WZCO and WZCO.org is sponsored by the following: Carolina Sports Medicine with offices in Whiteville and Wilmington, First Bank of Tabor City and Whiteville, the Southern Sizzler Family Restaurant, The Country Nursery, Regalwood Mutual Drug, E.W. Fomel & Son Farm and Garden Store, Bill Worley & Sons Construction, Joe's Barbecue Restaurant, David Pless of Woodman of the World, Tabor City Medicine Mart and Kuntz Medicine Mart in Chadbourne, Revis Long, your local Horace Mann Insurance representative, Black's Tire and Auto Service, Johnston's and Overby School Services, and
So here we go to start the 2nd quarter. It is 7-0 West Columbus. Let me try that one again. 7-0 South Columbus, and South has the ball on the West 13-yard line in a 2nd and goal. Spencer takes the snap, hands off to Avion Bellamy. Bellamy right side, and just not a lot there.
I tell you, credit the West Columbus defense. They're stiffening up. It's now going to be third down and about maybe 8 or 9. Third down and goal on about the 8 or 9 right now. And South Columbus, I think you picked it up really sharply when we were off camera when we said that South Columbus is not interested in a slow-down game. South Columbus wants to put the fellows on the floor, get this out of hand as quickly as possible so you can get those young men in and get your stars out and keep them healthy.
So it's 2nd and goal, Avion Bellamy, no gain. That'll bring up a 3rd and goal from the 13-yard line. Spencer takes the snap, and he rolls to his left, looking to throw, tucks it back in, will cut it up the middle, go to the right-hand side, and he's going to go for the corner, and he is in, but we have a flag down where he made that cut at the 20, and I believe this one's coming back.
Offensive hold. For all the world, I don't know how he got away from that tackle. He was coming in on the passing side of the quarterback. You thought for sure he was going to fumble that ball. Somehow he held on, came all the way back across the field, but I think an offensive hold's going to bring that back.
They're discussing it down there on the 10-yard line, and we will wait for a call. This is the only stadium that we do where we're on the visitor side, so they make the calls to the opposite field. Sometimes it's tough for us to see what the actual call is.
They waved off the flag.
And that'll be good for a score. So Robbie Spencer on
13 yards?
Yeah, on a 13 yard. So Robbie Spencer is responsible for both scores so far tonight.
Credit the young man. Rolls all the way to his left. Is about to be tackled for a huge loss for South Columbus on third down and goal. Ranges all the way back across the field. Gets some help from his blockers on that side and rolls to the right corner of the end zone.
Cardenas will go for the extra point to make it 14 as both sides get set here. West still getting ready. And here comes the signal. Snap is down. The kick is a line drive kind of low, and it is good. So it's snuck in the bottom left corner.
That's the pitching wedge shot.
Yeah. He chipped it right in there.
That works great if you're a golf game, but it scares the heck out of your coach if you're a kicker in a middle high school football game.
So 11-10 left before halftime. South Columbus on their second possession scores, and it is 14-0 South Columbus.
West Columbus still in this ball game to their credit. 11 minutes to go in the first half. They've got the kind of offense they want right now. South Columbus really trying to push the envelope as far as momentum and really trying to speed up the game. It's just a test of wills right now.
Yeah, it's West Columbus has to be happy with what they've seen so far, but they've just got to keep pushing, got to keep going, and work on putting some points on the board.
And it's a maturing process. Their offense has actually run pretty well tonight. They've had sustained drives on both their first and their second series. They just haven't been able to push it into the end zone.
So here comes the South Columbus special teams here. We can pretty well tell you where this kick will go. As Cardenas sets it up on his own 40-yard line, and West Columbus sets a couple guys back at the 15, but basically between line 1 and line 2, this ball will come down on the left-hand side. Still waiting on a signal from the official, and he is now ready. Cardenas looks left then right, and here goes the kick. And a little harder this time, but still in that same general vicinity. Thank you. That was going to turn out bad. 25-yard line in. So we see it a little bit. That one goes about 15 yards deeper than they normally go.
I'll tell you what the argument is, because we actually had this discussion myself and a number of people at the middle school jamboree yesterday. What you really look at is these backs for these teams nowadays are just so quick, so shifty, and usually they're the best player and best athlete on their teams. Do you really want to you're willing to give up that field position at the risk of not giving their best player a chance with the football in open space?
That's true. So West Columbus on their third possession of the night will take place will start from their own 28-yard line.
And again, C-State playing a really decent ball game tonight, really taking his time, really guiding the offense down the field, really not in a hurry. He's going to make sure of his plays and make sure of his play choices.
So he takes one last-minute scan as he goes under center, and there is a pitch back to number 7, and There's not much there on 1st and 10.
I'll tell you that linebacker shot across that ball, and he almost took the handoff. Really smart defensive play by South Columbus.
On 1st and 10, West Columbus will lose 5 yards and push them back to their own 23 for a 2nd and 15.
South Columbus defense going to take what West Columbus gives them. I think they're starting to see that the only thing that's really hurting them is that lateral movement. I think they're going to loosen up those linebackers to play more outside in. Same thing with their cornerbacks and their safeties.
Cisse has everybody huddled there on the 18-yard line. Huddle breaks. And the guys come up, as we'll see Cisse go up under center, still running receiver left and right. And there is the fake pass or pitch, and he'll keep it, and he's not going to get past the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 15.
Probably the more intelligent play, though, by Cisse as the outside linebacker was coming up to take the pitch, man. Safer play to keep it himself, try to get it a yard, maybe one, maybe two, but it's probably a better play and a heads-up play by the young man.
3rd down and 15, and Tyson will go over to the sideline for a minute.
I have to admit, I'm actually really impressed with the way you said that tonight. Cisse under center.
I ain't got tangled on that one yet. So here comes West Columbus up to the line. And they are making sure they are fully ready before they snap the ball. Cisse looks, and he gets ready. There's the snap. There's the pitch, and that one out to number 44, Sumter. And Sumter's got room as he carries it all the way up to the 49-yard line.
Unfortunately for everybody involved, we got yellow laundry on the field, and that ball looks to be coming back for a holding call.
So big run, but this one may be negated.
Just unfortunately, that one offensive lineman trying to turn his man got a piece of jersey, and we are coming backward. And I'll tell you, if you're a West Columbus High School fan, that's just got to break your heart. They finally got a real good run on offense and a real good shot up the middle against South Columbus, and it's got to come back for yellow laundry.
Yeah, we can't. When you talk about the flags, they may get out.
And I'll tell you something. Right now, if you're West Columbus, you're in a real dangerous position. You've got 3rd and fair bluff to make this 1st down. You can't try to gobble it all up. You can't get too greedy and force a turnover here and put South Columbus up by 20 points.
No, because you're right now 3rd down or 2nd down. You're in 2nd and 28, and it's a long way to go. 3rd and 28, and there Cisse swings left, and he's looking to pass, and almost picked off there by number 7, Traquan Bellamy.
And I'll tell you right now, with that piece of yellow laundry on the field, what that is I think Cisse was across the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball.
I thought he was too, but I couldn't. It's hard at the angle we're at, but I thought he had kind of gone a little far out. And if that is the case, South Columbus will decline. I would think decline that one.
I actually, with them, it wouldn't really matter because I think that also comes with loss of down.
Oh, well, then they won't have to decline it.
Unfortunately, it's not too much farther they can go back.
Of course, we can't see the call because he made it in the middle of the huddle facing the other side, but I'm pretty sure you're right on that one. And the ball goes back to the 5-yard line, and it is. So it's definitely what it is because it is a loss of down. And that brings up 4th and 33.
I wouldn't even drive this far.
So we will see a punt of some sort here as Tyson sets back up almost at the back of his own end zone. There's a good snap. The ball is up. South Columbus brought pressure, but they get it off. And the ball will get past Bellamy, and Bellamy will have to let it go. And Bellamy will see it touch down at the west, about 46-yard line. So
I'll tell you, Bellamy living dangerously. For all the world he wants to pick up that ball, he's tried on a couple of shots and he is just aces away from touching that ball in a big ball game. That's going to be a dangerous, dangerous play.
I think he just missed. I think that one was floating on him because I think he just misjudged where it was coming because he really didn't have anybody on him. He could have taken that one back 20 extra yards. I think it curved to the right at the end of that play, and he didn't want to go out there and possibly touch it and it get past him. So here we go. South Columbus on their third possession. Spencer pitches it off to Buffkin. Buffkin blows through traffic and will take it down to the 37-yard line. So good for 9 on 1st and 10.
I'll tell you, Buffkin's a lot of fun to watch. Seldom ever goes down on the first contact. Keeps his legs turning. And he's a prototypical high school fullback where he's going to get you that 3, 4, 5 yards in the cloud dust, and he's a chain mover.
He is. 2nd and 10, Spencer up under center. Quick snap, hands that one off to Avion. No, he takes it, reverses it back to Traquan Bellamy. Traquan Bellamy almost loses it, cuts left, cuts right, and he is on his way. What a big hit. I wish we had, I don't have a name on number 7, but he has got a huge pass play, a huge block there. He's had a good night tonight. He's been and I don't know if it's something where they switched numbers or brought somebody up from JV, but big night for number 7 for West Columbus.
I'll tell you what, that's how you finish off a running back right there.
And he put a hit.
That's how you teach it up when you're on the practice field.
So 15 south down to the 15-yard line. So, I mean, right about a 20-yard as Traquan just cutting left, cutting right. And here we go. And there's a fake to Avion Bellamy. Rolls the pass. Spencer still wants to pass over the middle and through the hands of Traquan Bellamy in the end zone.
I'll tell you, I don't know how Robbie Spencer holds on to that football. He's holding that ball up in his right hand, and he's got a high platform because he's throwing down. He's a very tall young man. And those West Columbus defenders are just aces away from grabbing that ball out of his hands. Real strong young man, especially with that hand strength. Otherwise, he'd have dropped that ball 2 or 3 times already.
He's definitely strong because they're not and he's got it with, like you said, with one hand, and they're not able to knock it out of there. So 2nd and 10, South Columbus on the west 15-yard line. South quickly huddles, breaks. Spencer will go back up under center. And he sends Avion Bellamy in motion, hands it, sweep right, cuts it back again, and another big hit.
Comes to a sudden stop, he does. Because I'll tell you, that young gentleman is just in great form, tackling position. That's how you teach it up. That's how you teach these kids. He was low to the ground, good base, head up, didn't expose his neck, made a strong tackle, and like we said, he came to a sudden conclusion.
Gain of 7 on 2nd and 10, and that'll bring up 3rd and 3 from the west 8.
South Columbus still able to get a first down without getting into the end zone at this point.
Spencer ready, snap, handoff Buffkin. Buffkin left side. Buffkin with a last-minute tackle there by number 13, Smith. And Buffkin will get a first and push it down to the 1-yard line.
Buffkin loves those plays where he can just lower his head and just dare people to come hit him. Because he'll fall forward and he'll get you that 2 or 3 extra yards. He sets up South in great shape with 1st and goal with just under 7 minutes to play in the first half.
So shoestring grab there. Spencer gets ready, hands to Buffkin. Buffkin goes in with a little bit of a block, but not a whole lot. And we are sitting here at 20-0 with 6 minutes and 33 seconds left before halftime.
West Columbus defender late getting on the field. South Columbus spots it, quick snaps the ball. And Buffkin, knowing he only needed about a step and a half to get into the end zone, does just that and extends the South Columbus lead. Cardenas lined up once again to kick the extra point.
Waiting on the snap, and here it comes. It is down. The kick is up this time, and it is good.
So with 6:33 left in the first half, we're going to run some spots and introduce you to some of our great sponsors here for high school football on 89.9 WZCO.
Fear Propane in Whiteville. Black's Tire and Auto Service has served North and South Carolina for over 85 years. In addition to 29 tire and 10 wheel brands, Black's offers air conditioning, brake, transmission, and exhaust repair. Routine automotive maintenance is also available at any of the 37 Black's North and South Carolina locations. A complete list of locations, products, and services can be found at blackstire.com. In Whiteville, Black's Tire and Auto Services is located at 1615 South Madison Street, 317-0229.
And here we go, 6 minutes and 33 seconds left. We are at a 21-0 South Columbus lead, and South ready to kick off.
Cardenas probably going to kick it about that same length again. Not going to give the chance for those quick backs from West Columbus to take the ball. And I'll tell you, if there's such a thing as a moral victory, if I'm West Columbus right now, I'm not too upset. I know I'm shorthanded. I know I'm up against a stronger foe tonight, but they're playing hard and they're playing decent football.
And there it is, right to the 27-yard line, and that will be fielded by number 13, Smith. Smith has room as he cuts it up the left side. Big hit there, and he will go down, but so does South at the 39-yard line.
I'll tell you, those South defenders got tired of getting knocked around by West Columbus on that last series. A couple of hard hits by the young man, number 7. Like I said, we don't have his name, but I think South Columbus wants to get on the hitting now.
Yeah, there's been some big hits tonight, and so West Columbus now getting ready to start their 4th possession, and that will take place at their own 38-yard line.
If I'm West Columbus, I don't panic. I get back to what I was doing that was working for me, but we've got to clean up those mental mistakes that are costing you field position and points. Because they did have a great run on that first down play on our last possession.
Yeah, when you look at tonight, you've had some big plays to move the chain, so definitely have some things in the positive area to talk about when this one's over. Cisse will get them ready, and he goes up to the center, and he calls his own number as he will push the pile forward to about the 41 right now. If that's the case, it would be a gain of 3 on 1st and 10.
Smart play by the young man. Must have saw a little gap in the defensive alignment. And, again, positive plays. Don't have to go for 80, 90 yards every play. Keep the chains moving. Keep the South Columbus offense off the field and protect your defense so they don't get gassed and get in a track meet with South Columbus.
Yeah, you do not want to – when your team numbers are as low as West are, you do not want to get in that track meet with South Columbus.
South Columbus, as we've seen in the past, has been able to score points in bunches when they get that steam rolling.
Mm-hmm. So West using, like you said earlier, they're using as much of that 30-second clock as possible, and that's good. That's smart. That's smart playing. It gives them a chance to catch their breath, get ready, make sure the play's set right, and it has worked for West
And
tonight.
It's really effective with your conditioning, so you're not gassed in that 3rd and 4th quarter.
Quick handoff, and no, Cisse pulls it down. He breaks to the left, and he will get it out to about the 45. Somebody lost their helmet.
I'll tell you, Cisse, a real heady young man, knows when to pitch it, knows when to keep it, reading the defender, and he's putting his team right now in manageable 3rd down situation, and that's what you need out of the young man. He doesn't need to get it all. He just needs to get manageable chunks and keep you in situations where you're ahead of the sticks instead of behind them.
4:54 left before halftime. 21-0 is our score. South leads. West has the ball, and they have drove it up to their own 45-yard line, and they find themselves in a 3rd down and 3.
Again, a manageable situation. Cisse been able to go both sides with that dive option, gives himself a chance to make this 1st down.
Cisse looks over to the coach to see if there's any last-minute play instructions, and he now looks over to the South Columbus defense, gets ready, and he calls it and gets it to the back, but before he can go anywhere, Buffkin has his arms around him, and down he goes.
Buffkin, your old-school type football player, said, I've had about enough of this. Cisse, if you want to run the ball, you're going to meet me head on.
Yep, so a loss of 4 on 3rd and 3, and now that'll bring up a 4th and 7.
On the upside, though, you have managed to move the ball enough to where you've been able to flip the field on South Columbus. You didn't give South a short field, and a good punt here will put you in pretty good position.
Tyson set up on his own 29 to punt, and South will move Graham to about his 29 or so to return it. So he's actually going to move back to about his own 26. Waiting on the snap, and there it is. And the snap's pulled down, and it's a line drive kick, end over end. Bounces about to 32, and South's going to let it go, and it's going to take a West Columbus roll and go all the way down to the South Columbus 15.
Viking got lucky on the high snap, was able to outkick his coverage, but like you said, it took a Viking roll. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. You know, you get that carry off that shot, and wisely staying away from it with South Columbus, but now they're starting with the ball on about their own 15-yard line.
3 minutes and 15 seconds left here before halftime. 21-0 is our score. South Columbus on their 4th possession of the night. It'll start on their own 15-yard line.
South Columbus going to stick with what brought them here. They are a dive option team. With those big backs, they're going to try and roll downhill. They're going to try and they have, I believe, all 3 timeouts, 3:15 on the clock. Not inconceivable. They can take the ball down the field in that length of time.
Robbie Spencer gets them ready, breaks the huddle up under center, and there goes Bellamy in motion. Bellamy will get it. He'll sweep to the left, cut it back up the middle, and great block there by number 55, Grayson Campbell, and that'll keep Bellamy with maybe a 1-yard gain.
I'll tell you, great play by number 8, Quasheen McDuffie, that senior safety coming up, just would not let go. Because if he gets that corner, he's running a length of time. But I'll tell you, he grabbed a hold of that ankle, and he wasn't giving it up. He was going to take it home with him.
2nd down and a long 9. Spencer up under center. There's the quick snap, and Spencer gives it to Avion Bellamy on a reverse, and Avion Bellamy will take it up to about the 28-yard line. Good for 12 on 2nd and 9.
But I'll tell you, more importantly for South, it stops the clock and moves the sticks. They're going to get a chance to, once those sticks get set, to run another offensive play. But they're getting a chance to get some rest and reconnoiter right now. And with 2:30 to go, they still got plenty of time to get this ball up the field.
Spencer breaks the huddle and will bring the men to the line. Gets ready. There's the snap. There is the fake to Avion. The handoff to Traquan. Traquan up the middle, cuts it back right, gets around, got a corner, gets it to the 50, and it'll be pushed out there.
I'll tell you, it seemed like every person on that West Columbus defense had a shot at him, just couldn't get to him. Very shifty, elusive runner. That young man, I swear to you, he must have been, it looked like he was tackled about 6 or 7 times, still gets the ball 20 yards down the field.
Traquan Bellamy gets it to the 48, new set of downs, and it'll be 1st and 10 there with 2:09 left here before halftime. 21-0 is our score.
South Columbus picking up yards in chunks now, really starting to get that offense rolling. The danger here is Robbie Spencer can beat you not only with his legs but with his arm. They're sucking up on the run. Might be the time for Robbie Spencer to hit a pass.
And good penetration. Spencer thought about passing, thought different, pulls it down, runs right-hand side, and he'll get it up over to 50 to the 48 for a gain of 4 on 1st and 10.
I think we just dialed it up. Robbie Spencer, he's been harassed all night. They're just aces of getting to him, but Robbie Spencer, ever the elusive young man, that's the advantage of a third-year player at quarterback. Robbie Spencer, that senior with that experience, knows when to pull the ball down and protect the football.
Definitely helps. So,
minute 36, South Columbus still with all their timeouts at this point.
So Spencer on the west 49-yard line. There's the handoff and reverses it back to Bellamy. Bellamy has a hole in the middle as he's cut it back, and he tried to get loose, but number 4, Nigel Cisse, said, I ain't letting go.
I'll tell you, tough running up the middle by Bellamy. Bellamy not willing to give up that yards, picks up the 1st down, stops the clock for South Columbus, and saves them a timeout.
Traquan Bellamy good for 13 on that and brings up a 1st and 10 there from the 36-yard line of West Columbus. And they are moving.
Just about 1 minute left to go in the first half. South Columbus got to pick up the urgency a little bit.
Spencer takes the snap, hands out to Avion Bellamy. Avion Bellamy right side. Avion Bellamy lost the ball. And it's still lost. And I do believe
a West Columbus defender has found it.
I don't know yet. I thought it was too, but I don't know if they have or not.
Looks like the South Columbus recovery and timeout South Columbus with 40.6 seconds left to go in the first half. If you're South Columbus right now, if I'm Russell Dove, I'm calling at least 2 plays in the huddle at this point. Try to save that timeout as much as possible, but I'm calling 2 plays in the huddle, and we're going to get quick back to the line. You can't afford to lay around. Get back up. Save your timeouts for when you get a little bit closer and you want to really pick the right play.
Yeah, we've seen, I think this is the 3rd time this year we've seen South Columbus, but now I will say for them, they've had a little bit, the ball hasn't hit the ground, but there's been a time or two the ball's gotten away where they've grabbed it real quickly, and when you're in pressure like that, that ball's going to the ground. And
I'll tell you, if I'm Russell Dove, I'm going to pick up on that at halftime. You can't afford to get lax or get bad habits no matter what the score is, no matter who the opponent is. Russell Dove is an old-school football coach. He preaches fundamentals every day on the practice field, every day when they're watching film. Russell Dove, he needs to get those young men and tighten that up at halftime, because whether it means something now or not, it's going to mean something down the road at an important moment.
2nd down and 8. 40.6 seconds left. Robbie Spencer under center. And he gets ready. And I believe there is the whistle. Quick snap. Rolls to his left. Looking to throw. In the pocket. Over the middle it goes. And that one's going to go over the head of number 80, Peyton Ray.
Credit the West Columbus defense on that. The young man was extremely well covered, and they have harassed Robbie Spencer more this evening than I've seen him most of the year this year. Robbie Spencer used to throw him from that clean pocket, not used to people flashing across his face. Just couldn't connect with the receiver on that, and probably better that he threw that long because it stops the clock. And for Robbie Spencer, you've got to get on your offensive lineman at halftime and say, man, just give me a few more seconds. I can get the ball down the field.
And I missed the penalty because they've just marched him back about 10 yards.
Most likely an offensive holding or maybe an ineligible lineman downfield.
So 2nd down and a long way. Spencer up under center. He's going to roll to his left. He's looking. He'll tuck it down, and he will cut it back in at the 30. Still on his feet at the 25 and knocked out of bounds about the 23-yard line.
On the upside for Robbie Spencer, though, he got the ball just past the sticks, stops the clock with 20.6 seconds. South Columbus with timeouts in their pocket and a 1st down.
So the official spot on that one will be the 24, but it's enough to move the chains, and it'll be 1st and 10, so enough to get probably, 2-3 plays in if you're quick about it.
Thing is, though, they're going to wind that clock as soon as they set it ready for play. And if I'm South Columbus, I really need to get on the ball.
Here we go. We've got everybody set. Spencer's ready. And there's the snap. And he is looking there as Bellamy, and Bellamy cuts it left-hand side. And there's not a lot there. Bellamy will get it to the 18-yard line, good for about 6.
Credit Nigel Cisse. Nigel Cisse did not go with the fake, stayed home, who was in perfect position to make the play, comes up and fills and makes probably a touchdown-saving tackle, because with that counter action, everybody went with the flow. Nigel Cisse was the only one that stayed home, and he's the only one between the running back and the end zone. South Columbus calls timeout with 11.5 seconds to go till halftime. If you're South Columbus, what do you dial up here?
I got one more timeout left. May consider another pass play. Here, I'll tell you, if I don't pick up what I want on this one, I'm using Cardenas for the 3. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it. I'm gonna walk out of here with 3 points if I can't walk out with 7.
Well, not only that, but a teachable moment for the young man to get a chance to kick in game conditions, and where you maybe need that down in a close situation, maybe at the end of the season or in the state playoffs.
Yeah, we called one of them about 3 or 4 years ago where field goals were important. There's the quick pitch out. No, Spencer will hold it. Spencer looks, and Spencer's going to go down. Great penetration by West Columbus, and that'll bring the ball to the 30-yard line with 0.8 seconds. So
Grayson Campbell with a great play from a defensive lineman position comes up, and once again, Robbie Spencer under duress all night throwing the football. This has been the most effective team I've seen this year going after Robbie Spencer. Once again, Spencer used to throw him with that clean pocket with those big, stout offensive linemen, and he just has not had the time to throw the ball tonight.
No, he's not. They've definitely put pressure on. And honestly, maybe the most we've seen Robbie Spencer attempt to throw was tonight. And not sure, because I know their strategy there. But, and maybe it's just to get a chance. But, West Columbus has not had any of that, and they have definitely put him on the run.
And I'll tell you, and you're going to think I'm crazy right now. If I'm South Columbus, I'm going to throw a screen pass. And those linemen, those linebackers are coming hard. Maybe catch them over pursuing and try to throw a screen pass and get in behind them and get some blockers in front of them and road grade it to the end zone.
Yeah, well, he hasn't had, and they've not tried putting him back that much, in this last bit in the gun, but we'll see. There's the snap. He drops back over the middle, and there it goes deep. It's going for number, not sure who it was going for, but it will be broken up by number 13, And we don't have his number. Yeah, we do. That is Smith.
DeJour Smith with a great defensive play, well covered by the West Columbus secondary. Credit those young men were hanging tough. But when you put that kind of situation and they know you got to get to the end zone, you're really, really in a tough spot if you're South Columbus.
So 2 quarters in the books. The score here is 21-0. South Columbus will end the that series at the time on an end.
Sleep well this evening.
So he is well-rounded on offense and special teams, and he has placed the ball on his 40 and getting ready to kick it off. Traquan Bellamy will be set back the deepest, and he's at about the 29-yard line, and he is joined with number 8, Noyola.
And both of those men just switched places, too, in case you weren't paying attention.
I think they did.
So the kicker's looking around, and he's like, I'm not sure where he went. And I'll tell you right now, and that's what we talked about with these short kickoffs. You've seen the speed of Bellamy in the first half. Do you really want to kick it deep and give him a chance in the open field?
Yeah, the other one's actually Keel. Those 6s and 8s look the same. There's our whistle, and Tyson looks to his left and his right, and there is going to be a kick in the middle, and he hits a good spot, and it's going to actually get past Bellamy, but Bellamy brings it in at the 20, and he's going to cut it to the left-hand side of the field, and he cuts it back up the middle, and he's got room to the 50. He's loose, 40, 30, 20, 10, touchdown, Traquan Bellamy.
He'd been living dangerously all night, wanted to pick that ball up, finally got the opportunity to do so, picks up a block from Keel on the other side, and he was off to the races.
So, yeah, that'll end up being probably where he picked it up. I think you can put that one down as an 80-yard kickoff return, and now we are looking at 27-0.
Smart play by the young man. He'd been wanting to do that all night, finally got the opportunity. Picks up a strong block, comes to the left, and when he gets ahead of steam going, there's not many grown men who want to get in front of him.
And tonight, he's just seems like he has read the holes so much better, and his cuts have been so sharp.
Real good field vision by the young man.
So here we go with number 21, Cardenas, and the kick is up, and it is good. So a quick score at 11 minutes and 42 seconds left in the third. It is now 28-0 South Columbus.
It's okay if you're West Columbus. Don't get flustered. Come back. Just settle yourself. You still got a lot of football to be played. Only 18 seconds off the clock in the second half. Go back to what you were doing, what was effective for you. Nothing changes at this point.
Nope, you just play Viking football and keep work on your fundamentals and work your game plan. Find those outside edges and try to put 6 on the board. So here comes the special teams from South Columbus, and they will kick it off to West. West got one man back on about the 15-yard line and got another one back about the 21-yard line.
And I have a feeling the ball won't come anywhere close to it.
No, they're just back there for moral support.
To get a good view of the game.
So nope, that ball is going to somewhere around the 35-40. And West Columbus going to bring out one more guy there.
I'll tell you, really beautiful field out here. Really nice night for football. I mean, if you ever get a chance to come out to some of these high school football fields, there's some really pretty places to watch some games. And I'll tell you, Columbus County Schools does a great job taking care of their fields. And really got to credit these schools for really giving these young men and young ladies really great places to play.
Cardenas has them set, and there is the kickoff. Actually, a little bit deeper. Be fielded on about the 26-yard line, and that is number 13, Smith. And he's got room. He's loosed on the 30. There he goes, 20. They're going to match it, 10, 5, touchdown.
Are you not entertained?
Sure enough.
West Columbus looking at him and saying, anything you can do, I can do better.
So West Columbus will put 6 on the board, and on a, let's say, 75-yard touchdown run by number 13, DeJour Smith.
And I promise you I won't sing again the rest of the evening. I'll tell you, DeJour Smith picks up the ball, could have taken it back across the field where his blockers were, took a chance to take that sideline. South Columbus called inside, not staying in their lanes. He didn't have much room on that sideline, but he had just enough to get the ball all the way to the end zone.
So South Columbus gets everybody back to the field, and I think West Columbus here will choose to go for 2. So that was pretty quick. We saw 2 touchdowns in 32 seconds.
And if I'm West Columbus, I really don't kick the ball anywhere close to the way I did it last time.
I am making sure it does not go anywhere near Traquan Bellamy.
And as we talked about, you really don't want to kick it to those boys and give it to them in open field, because the two best players on the field just took the ball 75 and 80 yards.
They sure did. Here we go. Quick snap. Cisse up the middle, and he is in for two. So 28-8 with 11 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the third quarter. South Columbus and West Columbus trade touchdowns.
And here we are right back where we started from.
Yep.
Positive experience for West Columbus. They can definitely build on that. A little bit of momentum for the first time for those Vikings.
That's true. Yeah, you've definitely got to be happy. You got a big run that time resulted in 6. So, some good plays, but them always make you feel better.
Now, if I'm West Columbus, I put a big old circle on that young man, and I say anywhere but there.
So let's see. Ever seen back-to-back-to-back kickoff return touchdowns?
I've been watching football for a little over 40 years right now, and I have never seen back-to-back-to-back.
West Columbus getting ready here to kick off, and we will see Tyson again. Yep.
But this is high school football, and as we've seen some squirrely stuff happen.
Mm-hmm. So who knows? But I'm pretty confident with you that ball will not go to Traquan Bellamy this time. But we'll see. Official makes it to the side, and he gets ready. Waiting on a whistle. There he is. He's happy. There it is. Here we go. And the kick is going to be a squib kick this time up the middle, and that one's going to be fielded at the 35-yard line, and that's number 8, and number 8's loose. There goes.
Almost.
No, or it might have been 6 come up. That 6 and 8 is hard to tell the difference between. But they get it all the way up to the 41-yard line of West Columbus.
And that was Dejon Keel, number 6. I'll tell you, he stuck up in that front line this time, and he all but the world almost made it all the way back across.
So here we go. South Columbus will have their second possession. We've only spent 43 seconds. We have 2 touchdowns, and South Columbus now has made it to the 41-yard line of West for their second possession of the game.
Looks like Griffin Hanna up the middle. Now, actually, that's Buffkin just rumbling, bumbling, and I'll tell you, he's taking everybody with him. Looks like a big old scrum, and he drives the pile forward for about a good 8-9 yards on first down. Buffkin, we've talked several times this year, seldom goes down first contact, always is a road grader, really takes the ball, and he's going to fall forward every time, and those hidden yards are really what helps South Columbus. Once again, Spencer bringing the Stallions to the line.
There's the handoff, and that one to number 7, Traquan Bellamy, and Bellamy's got room as he will take it all the way down to the 19-yard line.
Picks up a first down for the Stallions. Those plays are hidden plays where it looks like for all the world he's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage, and he just squirts through and picks up a good extra 10 or 12 yards.
Make a transition there on the field, and South Columbus finishing up their huddle. 10:22 left here in the third. 28-8 is our score. Robbie Spencer will go back up under center. Takes the snap. Hands that one off to Buffkin. Buffkin straight up the middle, and Buffkin's got room. There's a hole. Buffkin gets hit. The ball's loose. And let's see what happens. Touchdown. Well, I'll be.
So those young men scrambled after that ball in a hurry. Now, I'm sure Russell Dove's going to have a word for his young running back, that senior, about ball security, because down there in the Briar Patch so close to the end zone, you can't afford to lose those points.
And I don't know who I have no idea who recovered it, but it's in for a score, and it is now 34-8 here. South Columbus lead.
South Columbus looks like they seem to be getting it rolling. I think Russell Dove making some sharp adjustments at halftime. Probably let into his young men a little bit about getting sloppy, and they're really going to turn it up in this third quarter and get their starters out probably by the end and lead the fourth quarter to those young men who are learning.
Kick is up, and it is good. So it is now 35-8. South Columbus is leading West Columbus here. And we have had 3 touchdowns scored in 1 minute and 57 seconds.
Are you not entertained, my friend?
Tell you what, you never know when it comes to
High school football, these men are learning anything is possible and everything can and will happen. And I've seen some great, great high school football. And just when you think you've got it figured out, something comes up you ain't never seen before.
that is definitely true.
Got some great football still to be played left in the Three Rivers Conference this year. You got Whiteville, South Columbus always coming up at the end. Fairmont, I believe. I take that back. It's Fairmont and South Columbus, Fairmont and Whiteville. East and West still have to play. There's some great football yet to be played. We're just now getting into the fall. The real crisp autumn air is starting to hit at night. And this is where high school football gets really, really good.
That's true. South Columbus getting set up here for the kickoff, and it's been a fast-paced third quarter.
We've seen more offense in the last 2 minutes than we saw the entire first half.
It's been back-to-back kickoff returns, and then South Columbus takes that one quickly and punches it in. And we've seen a score off a fumble. So South Columbus is ready, and there goes the ball. And it will be a short kick this time, and that one's going to do like South likes it. It hits it right there at the 36 or 7, and it is dove upon by Alejandro Noyola. And
Noyola. I tell you, he was a young – I think he fielded that better than the West Columbus Vikings special teams. He almost caught that ball on the fly.
That's that dangerous spot, and he hit it that time because there's the ones that Cardenas has kicked have been just a little bit harder than normal, but he hit that dead zone that time, and when he did, they're so fast on special teams that they were the only ones there.
I mean, that's a gift. he for all the world got the ball, and credit to South Columbus special teams for catching West Columbus flat-footed. They reacted better to the ball than the Vikings did, and right now they're sitting up with 1st and 10 on the West Columbus 37.
Spencer under center. Handoff to number 9, Darren Stevens, and Stevens has a hold to the 20, cuts it back, and he will be taken down at about the 12-yard line.
And credit these young men from West Columbus for fighting hard, but they're just getting gassed at this point. I mean, those small numbers are starting to catch up to them, and they're fighting hard, but West Columbus right now just really struggling to catch their breath.
So there may be an official timeout. We've got a young man a little bit slower to get up and probably just kind of winded a little bit. And so while they work him out, we're going to run a spot or two.
I think we'll stay with the action here and talk a little bit more. We got a game, I think, in South Columbus coming up next week. Good football yet to be played. Some great soccer action that I've seen at the high schools in the last couple of weeks. Middle school football just now kicking in. The Jamboree was yesterday. Got some great teams. There's some really good sports action in Columbus County right now. If you get a chance to get out and see some of these young men and young women really ply their trade and really learn to become great athletes, and thank goodness we get a chance to see them each and every week here on the many avenues of social media and entertainment that are available to us.
Yeah, definitely a lot of ways now that you can keep up with things than there were 20 years ago.
Credit Kelly Jones and the group from CCCA. We're on Periscope. We're on the Columbus County Schools Roku app, Facebook Live, YouTube, and I don't know if you got a chance to look at the comments from last week's game. We had a comment chime in from Washington State, on an Air Force base out there, getting these opportunities and getting our young men and young women noticed and seen to give them the best possible opportunities at the next level is an avenue that Columbus County Schools offers its students that really doesn't happen a lot of other places.
Yeah, definitely true. And like I said, technology has that ability to just to get so much out, so many different places, and you can see so much now.
Also credit the broadcasting program at CCCA, Miss Sanja Nkea and her staff do a fantastic job, really professional production. Really can't thank those students enough for the great job they do each and every Friday night for us.
So as West gets ready, their man back ready, South Columbus has them huddled broke and is now, they had moved it down that time to right about the 12-yard line for a 1st and 10.
Not too much room to get a first down, but apparently it's still possible.
Spencer getting ready here. Making sure everybody is ready for their own assignment as the timeout comes to an end. There's the snap. There's the handoff. Traquan Bellamy, left side, cuts it back. And West Columbus going to hold him up about the 5.
I'm telling you, those young men are so hard to tackle. He got into the hole, and West Columbus had a swarm of tacklers there. You thought they had him down. He made a smart move, turned his shoulders, and got sideways in the hole and picked up an extra 2 or 3 yards.
So the ball will be spotted on the 5-yard line, and that will bring up a 2nd down and 3.
3 to get the first down, maybe 4.5 to get the touchdown. 9:07 to go in the 3rd quarter. South Columbus knocking on the door once again, looking to get themselves set right as far as their fundamentals before they get the young men out and play those younger gentlemen.
Spencer to number 24, Tate Lee, and Lee will only get about 1 on that one.
Credit the stout defensive play by West Columbus. West Columbus says if you're going to score, you're going to have to work for it, and you're going to have to earn it. Tate Lee, a good young man, strong ball player. Maybe not has the physical strength of some of the other young men for South Columbus, but Tate Lee, being a young man who's coming up for the Stallions, getting an opportunity at this point.
3rd down and 2. Spencer has there at the 4. Handoff to Traquan Bellamy, left side. There's room. He dives, and it is good. So 4-yard touchdown run by Traquan Bellamy will bring us to 41-8.
I'll tell you, not much running room there. Not much running room needed there at that point. Credit to the offensive line for South Columbus, giving that spot right off tackle, sealed off the inside, and he's into the end zone. Noyola once again lining up the kick.
He's been busy tonight.
But I do believe he's made them all.
Yes, he is right now. Hopefully we've not jinxed him.
I'm really good for that, I've noticed.
He's 5 for 5. The snap is down, and the kick is up, and it is good. So you didn't get him that time. 42-8, 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in the 3rd. If you are just joining us in the last 3 minutes and 45 seconds, we have seen 4 touchdowns put up on the board, 2 on kickoffs and 2 run in. 3 go to west, 3 goes to south, 1 goes to west, and that's where we find us, 42-8.
And if I'm South Columbus right now, I'm excited about 2 things. One, I finally got the offense rolling a little bit. I've lengthened the score. I'm going to get my young players, my freshmen and my sophomores, an opportunity to get in the ball game, get some valuable teaching time. And the other thing is, South Columbus has avoided the injury bug so far. They're getting to that point in the game where they're going to start taking their starters out one by one, and they're going to be healthy getting out of this game, which is probably the most important thing if you're a South Columbus high school Stallion.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, you look, whether it's high school, college, pro, whatever you look at, that's where the stats are. When you pull those starters out every week at the end or wherever they leave at, if they're still healthy, that's another win because they're ready to play the next week. So here we go. Cardenas is it set up, and he is just waiting on the official signal. And here we go and see where this one. And right about that same spot again, but West has moved up in time. And they fielded about the 38. And what a hard hit there by number 3.
Avion Bellamy.
And number 8, Noyola.
And we got some extracurricular activities, and we got some yellow laundry on the field. Young men, the ball game's starting to get away from them. They're starting to lose their composure a little bit. If I'm a West Columbus coach and a South Columbus coach, I'm going to get all my folks and tell them we don't need this. At this point in the game, you just play your football and be smart about it because you can't afford to lose 2 games by getting kicked out.
Yep. And that one, that may be offsetting, just judging on where both flags are thrown.
And the sad thing is that kind of stuff takes away from a great play by Avion Bellamy on the kickoff. Really, I mean, those 2 young gentlemen for South Columbus, 1 high, 1 low, really made a smart play, stopped that kickoff right where it started, and stuff like this it's disappointing. Yeah. And if I know Russell Dove and his staff and James Pierce and his staff, they're getting on their young men right now, telling them to keep their cool play good Holiday High School football. These kids all know each other. It's just frustration right now. And those kind of things are going to happen, but it's part of growing up.
Yep. So basic. Ooh, it's hard to make a call, but they were offsetting, and I believe one of those young men will not be invited back to finish the game. If I understood that last part of that signal, I think he has been ejected, and maybe both of them. I don't know.
Now there are two things to consider right now: are they ejected or disqualified? There's two different interpretations there. If someone's disqualified, they're just not allowed to finish the game.
And it may have been that.
And I think it's the officials saying, we're not going to have this, we're not going to put up with it. You play football or you're going to be sitting on the bench or going to the locker room.
And that's probably where we're at on that. I think they've probably just been removed from disqualified from this game. Well, they've not been asked to leave because, no one is there, but with the motion of that last one, somebody's not coming back in based on that signal, which, like I said, when the referee's back's to you and he's facing the other side, sometimes it's hard to make that. And they may have done that with both of them, which is a big hurt to West Columbus. You don't have a player to
you don't
give
have
up
too many
like
kills
that.
Come in, absolutely.
No, you don't want that. It's definitely offsetting because the ball didn't move, but yeah, West Columbus cannot afford that to happen.
And honestly, it's a good teaching moment for these young men. In a situation like this, the game's out of control. It's not really going to hurt either team too much. Now, having said that, if you're South Columbus, in a situation where this kind of thing happens and you lose a ball player, especially an important ball player in a tight ball game, in a big ball game, because they have some big ball games coming up, really, really hurts your team. And it's a lesson for that young man that he needs to avoid those kinds of activities.
So, yeah, that's definitely, and I agree, both Coach Dove and Coach Pierce, they're not going to have that. That's not, there's been discussion now, and there will be discussion later.
With some raised voices in that film room on Monday afternoon. Both of those gentlemen you just mentioned, James Pierce and Russell Dove, Christian men, good, solid old school football coaches, good role models, and they absolutely will not put up with those kinds of hijinks.
Yeah, well, based on between you disqualified and you ejected, I think it's ejected because we have somebody leaving now. So that's definitely not what you want to see. And I can't tell over there on the other side, but there's definitely a young man leaving from this side.
And, again, a teachable moment for these young men. Part of what high school sports teaches you, you have to keep your composure at moments like those. Part of growing up is you have to learn how to corral your temper. Mm-hmm. And maybe in a football game that's out of control, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but there are going to be situations in your life where you're going to need to learn some composure and to learn to corral your temper. And they say high school football and high school sports not only teaches character, it reveals character. And I think that young man's going to learn a good lesson from this.
So here we go after we've got that all straightened out. And West Columbus now has the ball on their own 37-yard line. Cisse getting ready to go up under center as making sure his men are where he wants them. Here's the snap. He keeps it, and he's got a little bit of a hole as he pushes the ball across the 40 into the 42 for a gain of 5 on 1st and 10.
Credit that West Columbus offensive line. Really got a good push against those big, tall, strong fellows on the defensive line from South Columbus. First real good push they've had against them other than that one long run.
I think fatigue is starting to catch up a little bit with West Columbus here with 7:56 remaining.
Fatigue and humidity is a recipe for cramps each and every time. These young men have been fighting hard. God bless them. They've done a real good job of keeping themselves in the ball game, playing meaningful football till at this point, which 7:56 to go in the third quarter. And I'll tell you, credit those young men. They've fought hard. They have nothing to be ashamed of tonight.
It's been a hard-fought battle, and it's hard when you can't sub in and out. That's tough on the body. Some of these guys have probably been playing every snap for the last 28 minutes, and it wears on you.
Maybe a good time for everybody to kind of catch their breath, catch their head back a little bit. Young man, just struggling right now to get that cramp out of his leg. And with the ejection on both sides, West Columbus can't afford to go down one or two more young men. I think they only filled about 16 this evening.
Yeah, so we've seen one young man be helped off the field. I'm not sure if he's been able to come back. And then they had another young man that was either, like you said, he was either disqualified or ejected. I can't see all the way across through there to tell, but either way, there's two guys that they don't have back, and you don't want the third. And unfortunately, that you just don't have the people. So the good thing here, this young man walking off, so hopefully we'll see him later on today. But it's just tough.
Tough going once again for West Columbus, but credit those young men. They have not give up. Now, I believe that's Cisse walking off the field, so I think Smith will be coming back in at quarterback.
So, yeah, we should be seeing we should see Tyson take over here.
And I'll tell Tyson, the young man, we called his name a lot tonight, done a lot of different good things for West Columbus. Quality young man, quality football player.
Yeah, he's been busy, and they've depended on him. So Tyson's got him in the huddle here. West Columbus in a 2nd and 5. Trying to keep that positive momentum going this third quarter. So Tyson will go up under center. As he looks over the defense, make sure his offense is ready. There's the snap. Handoff there to number 7. And number 7 cuts it left. And he gets it back to about the 40, but not close enough.
I'd love to be able to tell you who he is. I apologize to his parents who are probably watching tonight. But we just don't have his name on our roster. But that young man's played a pretty quality football game this evening. Had a couple good hits on defense and some elusive running right now on offense.
So 2nd down and 5 now results in a 3rd down and 8. So West Columbus will lose 3 on that one. And Cisse able to come back in, and he will take back over as quarterback. Had to get that one play breath there.
Nigel Cisse, tough as they come, really hard young gentleman to bring to the ground. Played a nice football game this evening. Just he's given everything he has in his tank.
West Columbus situated. Cisse under center. There's the snap, and he's rolling back to pass. Rolls to his right, going to throw it over the middle, and that one is going to be picked off by number 14, Graham. Graham crosses the 50 to the 45, and he will go down about the 40-yard line.
I'll tell you, Nigel Cisse looked like he had about 2 or 3 seconds to throw the football. All of a sudden, that collapsed in a heartbeat, and there was just nobody open. Threw that ball up for grabs. Probably should have thrown that ball away.
So one other positive for West tonight is they've had a couple of young men go down, but both of those young men have stepped back out on the field. So both of them have been able to go back. So when you see somewhat of an injury at the time, it's always nice when that injury can work itself out and you're able to go back out there and play. So it's definitely good to see both them young men out.
I'll tell you right now, I mean, if you're West Columbus, that clock can't run fast enough. You got to get out of here. You got to get healthy, and you maybe get some of those young men back that you've already had hurt. And I got to credit those young men because there's been no quit in them all night long.
Nope. 5 minutes left here in the third. 42-8 is our score. South Columbus has the ball on the West 40. And it is a 1st and 10 after a interception there by Rajon Graham. And good sportsmanship there as they come to the line, and the offense and the defense shook hands before the snap starts. And I think we may, and well, that was in at quarterback. That time was Brady Ivy, so we've seen a little bit of some of the adjustments start taking place.
I'll tell you, these young gentlemen, they're neighbors. These two communities are just butt up against each other, and half of these kids are neighbors, half of these kids are friends. And I'll tell you, nice to see these young men shake it up and kind of get back to just playing football. Once again, we said Brady Ivy, his older brother Brennan is a former Stallion player, probably watching this evening. Proud of his young brother getting the opportunity to play quarterback for the Stallions.
So Noyola gets it down to the 30. That'll move the chains. Ivy takes the snap. And he will get that one handed off, and that is number 25, Johnny Graham. And Johnny Graham's going to get it all the way down to the 11-yard line and move the chains again.
Nice elusive run by the senior, getting an opportunity with the score, really showing what he can do. I mean, credit these young men who these second-team kids really get an opportunity to show what they can do. Graham with a very nice run off the right end.
So there's going to be a hard first down to get because we find the ball spotted at about the 11. So you get down between the 1 or a little bit on the other side. But 1st and 10, Ivy to Graham, and Graham has a hole, and Graham will push it in for 6.
Graham with a great run up the middle. I swear, I don't think his head and his knees were more than about a foot, like a half a foot off the ground. Low to the ground, just looked like a bull coming right through there, stampede, and goes right into the end zone, picks up the easy 6 for South Columbus.
2 minutes and 57 seconds left in the third. South Columbus now leads 48-8 and will go to make it 49.
We got a running clock right now because South Columbus with that 40-point lead.
So here we go, and looks like they're going to practice with a new kicker. They're going to let looks like Will Sellers give it a shot.
No time like the present to start teaching, start bringing up those young stallions. They're cold snap, but they'll be stallions in the future.
And that kick is up, and it is
undecided at this point.
Was there something? Well, the referee signaled something. I don't know if they had started the clock or what it had. I think he may have kicked it before they were ready. Or they called a penalty, and now he's kicking it farther back.
These young gentlemen getting the first opportunity to really see this in game action in a varsity football game. Looked like it had been good from about 5 yards back, so he's going to get another opportunity. Practice makes perfect, I guess.
That's right.
Once again, high school football, if you're up by 40 points or more, they do have a running clock until it gets back underneath that 40-point margin.
So Brady Ivy will hold. Will Sellers will kick. And we will try this one again a little farther out with 1:44 left. So he gets situated. Here's the snap. The ball is down. The kick is up, and it is good.
Credit Sellers. Sellers with a real nice kick there. Doesn't get too many opportunities for the Stallions. Kick that thing through the top of the uprights. Nice job, young man.
Yeah, he could have put that one through from about 30, 40 yard out with the height it had on it. So we'll run the clock here for at least, until West will score, or it'll continue to run on. It's 49-8. South leads here. And there's been a lot of scoring here in the third quarter.
Hard to believe we were at 21-0 here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, South Columbus they put some points on the board, and we've seen some interesting things.
Those young men from West, credit those young men for keeping their heads up. They really haven't got their heads down. They've continued to play good, hard-nosed football. And if you're James Pierce, that's all you can ask for at this point. Pierce wants to see these young men to continue to see it through. They're growing as a football team. It's the young group of young men he's got. And if I'm James Pierce, the things I'm looking for right now, I'm looking for kids who are going to show heart, going to show character, continue to fight, continue to play, and really work on their assignments and trying to build their skills.
Well, definitely it's got the heart, because these kids have given it all, and they're still giving it, because they're out there, they're playing like it's
0-0.
Yeah, they really are. All right, so here we go. And that kick will be, they're going to kick that one away. And that one's going to be fielded on the 15 by number 44, Sumter. And Sumter's going to go down about the 28.
Nice play by the up-back from South Columbus. I'm trying to catch his number right now. Number 8 for South Columbus, that would be Noyola. Really comes up making an open field tackle, grabs him by the waist, slings him around, and gets him to the ground.
So we have 3 quarters in the record books here. Score is 49-8. South Columbus lead. The kickoff has taken place. They'll switch ends. The clock will continue to run when they start. And we will.
Lots of great stuff still going on.
Yeah.
Time change coming up. We got coming into the month of October. The start of school is now over. These kids have been back a while now and really had a chance. I don't know if you were – I know you work at CCCA. Talk about the visit by the governor yesterday.
Yeah, the governor came down and checked out some of our career technical education class rooms while he was there. Visited our metal shop, our masonry, came in our video and radio studio, and then they had a round table over there in the cafeteria. So a lot of busy things going on yesterday afternoon.
Great experience for those students getting to meet the governor. Whether you're believe in his policies or don't believe in his policies, good chance to learn some citizenship and democracy, and really get those students involved in what's going on around them in the world.
Tyson will come back in as quarterback, and he will take it himself and push it over the line to pick up maybe one on 1st and 10.
Every little bit helps at this point. These young, I mean, the one thing you got to say for West Columbus right now, they really don't have a second team at this point. So they're going to get. So these young men from South Columbus are going up against these first team, really getting some valuable experience.
Yeah, it's you want to just the clock's running, put the ball on the ground, run it, work on some plays that you want to work on, keep everybody healthy. Because right now you've been banged up, but you've got everybody able to come back next week. So that's definitely a plus there. So that's a victory.
Starting to get in the meat of that Three Rivers Conference right now. A lot of good football yet to be played, and you really can't take a week off anymore.
No, that's definitely true. Tyson up under center, and this time he will pitch that one out to number 44, Sumter. Sumter goes right side, and he will get maybe one.
Hard sledding right now for these running backs. You see a lot of these high school running backs anymore running a lot of east-west, not a lot of north-south. And I've always been a big fan of get that ball to the field as quick as you can, get the chains moving. And right now there's just not a lot in the center of that South Columbus defense.
No, West hasn't had much success north and south today, but, stretching it out. But they're tired. South has plugged those holes up, so it's tough go here on 3rd and 8.
And once again, South is fresh now because they're putting those second and third team kids who haven't had that opportunity, and they got a fresh group of lungs where those West Columbus kids, their tongues are hanging out at this point.
Yeah, but this time it gets rough on the young men from West. All right, there's a quick handoff, and that one goes to number 7 as he cuts it back up the middle, and he will pick up 1 to 2.
Looks like it'll be about 4th and about 4, maybe short 5. If you're South Columbus right now, you set up, you get your second team punt return, and you really make sure you have all the men on the field. There's a good chance for you to look and make sure that your young men know where they're supposed to go.
So from quarterback to punter, there goes Tyson. I think of old Danny White back in the early 80s, late 70s at the Cowboy days.
I'm a Cowboys fan. That's a painful, painful memory for me, those Danny White years. I was more of a Gary Hogaboom fan.
South Columbus will set up on about their own 33, and a good punt that'll land toward the out of bounds and roll to somewhere between the 35 and 40, depending on the spot there.
Really nice job by these young men. For both teams who don't get those opportunities a whole lot to show what they can do. Seen a lot of nice plays by some individual players who maybe not this year, maybe not this season, but in the very near future are going to do some really nice things for both of these schools.
So the ball will be officially spotted on the 38-yard line of South Columbus, and that's where Brady Ivy and his group will take over here. 8:04 left here in the game. 49-8 is our score. South Columbus leads here. They'll move on to 5-0, and I can't. We're at South Columbus next week, but I can't remember who is. I want to say it's St. Paul's. There's a cut by Keel, and Keel is got the right to the 50. Cuts it back, but a good tackle there by number 81, and we don't have his name either. But he saves a touchdown, as if Keel would have broke that one, he would have been pretty hard to stop the rest of the way down.
And this is what we were talking about, hustle plays. Football defines character sometimes, and it reveals it. That young man didn't give up on the play, didn't give up on the game. makes a good hustle play to save a touchdown for the Vikings.
And I see an orange flag on the field, and looks like that one's going to be some holding, and that one's going to come back. You hate to see that if you're South Columbus, because what a big positive play. It comes back and costs you 10 more.
And credit Russell Dove. He's out there coaching up that young man right now, letting them know that's not how we do it.
Not sure tonight who East Columbus is playing, but we did see at halftime that Whiteville was up 44-0 over South Robinson. We did see that. Technology is definitely an issue tonight. We are not live. Everything will be put out on tape due to technology, but that's the way life goes.
Just took a look at the schedule. We have St. Paul's and South Columbus next week from Civitan Stadium.
And he's loose. There he goes. Breaks to the 35, 25, 15, 5, and touchdown. Number 44, Crooms, on a big, 14. That makes a lot more sense. Rajon Graham.
Rajon Graham, I believe that's his second touchdown in as many possessions for South Columbus. I mean, took off. Looked like he was cruising there in the first level. He got to the second and third level, and he hit the jet, and he was gone.
I think we may have a penalty, though. I think this one's coming back. It would have been a 75-yard touchdown, but I think we got another holding call.
That poor young man's going all that, and I got to come all the way back.
Yep, there's the flag, and that's a tough one there.
And this South Columbus coaching staff, you can tell they're a little displeased, a little disappointed, because that's the one they're going to coach up in the film room.
Yeah, so that hold will negate a 75-yard touchdown with 5:45 left here, and that will put South Columbus in a first down and
18, it looks like.
Yeah, that's about where. So we'll see see what happens here. Brady Ivy looks it over, gets situated. Here's the snap, and here's another flag. So ball makes it to the 30, but something tells me that one may be coming back.
And they just waved off the flag.
And maybe not.
At this point in the game, I think officials really trying to keep that flag in their pocket.
Yeah, just stick
really
it
have
in
to
there.
at this point.
Unless it's blatant, quit throwing it.
That's game ended by the officials as well.
So it'll be a second down here and quite a ways.
Just about second and 18 according to the scoreboard. South Columbus really got to clean up these penalties, especially if they need these young men a little bit further down the road.
There's Rajon Graham again. He's got another hole as he gets to the 50 and all the way over to about the 40. He gets down to where he's got one man to beat, and that one man seems to get a hand on him and just kind of take him off his.
I almost saw him turn around and look around like there better not be any yellow handkerchiefs on the ground.
And that's a possibility after that last long one and it come back. Well, there is one.
I'll tell you.
But it wasn't on South Columbus that time.
I'll tell you, Graham is probably run for about 150 yards right now, but he's had 2 or 3 called back on penalties.
Yeah, it might have been just signaling first down. 49-yard line's where the ball's at. South Columbus up. And there's the snap. It gets away. But Ivy picks it back up, and Ivy will get a couple before they sling him down there at about the 41.
About 3 minutes, 35 seconds to go in the fourth quarter here. South Columbus with about a 2nd and 7. These young men getting valuable playing time, valuable experience at the varsity level. This is good teaching time if you're Russell Dove and you're James Pierce.
Very true on that, and just trying to make the most out of it.
And these young men will probably be going out for dinner afterwards or maybe lunch on Saturday and Sunday, and these kids will shake them up and probably out there in the street somewhere. And nice to see the sportsmanship come back in this ball game after that unfortunate incident. But I'll tell you something, this is good, solid, hard-nosed high school football.
That it has been. Second and 7. Ball on the 41-yard line. Ivy under center. Here's the snap. And there's the handoff to number 6, Keel. And Keel cuts it to the left. and he will be tackled down at about the 26-yard line.
I'll tell you, I don't know where South Columbus does, but they just seem to keep recycling these running backs. And it's just, you turn around and you think they've had that last great running back at South Columbus, and here comes another one.
So true.
They keep saying that the good teams don't rebuild, they reload. And
That's true.
credit these young men's middle school football coaches, their youth football coaches, really trained up well in this end of the county.
South Columbus in a 1st and 10 from their West 26. 2 minutes left in this one. 49-8 is our score. And I believe we will see some victory formation, and that'll pretty well just run this clock out.
Just under 2 minutes. South Columbus really doesn't have to snap the ball one too many times. It's only 2nd down. And if you're Russell Dove right now, you're disappointed about the sloppy play a little bit, but you're happy. You got what you needed here. You got a win. You got out of here healthy.
Yeah.
And if you're James Pierce, you're disappointed that you're not winning football games, but you're building good football players and quality young men. And it's going to be a tough night for these young men, but they're getting better each and every week. And with the heart they showed, they're going to pick up a win or two here or there before the end of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely been it's got its positives. And, you know, when your staff's that small or your team's that small, you got to kind of look forward to what you've seen. I mean, they've played hard, and they've got some positives in there. And it's just now trying to get just kind of get some pieces to come together. This one's close as we're down to 50 seconds here, and South Columbus just kneeling it out to end this one. So the Stallions will go to 5-0. They'll go home next week to face St. Paul's. West Columbus will go to 0-5, and they may go on the road next week. They usually pretty well keep them rotated.
And that looks like it will be the last snap of the ball game. Your final score, South Columbus 49, West Columbus 8. Nice game by both teams. Good, hard fought, clean. And it was expected, but you saw some great things out of both teams.
Right. Yeah, you've got some things to work on, but you've got some things to be definitely proud of. And the key thing is I don't think anybody left from either side where they didn't make it back in the game. And when you see that, that's definitely a win when you've got everybody coming back next week.
Again, we're down at Civitan Stadium on the South Columbus High School campus to see them face St. Paul. St. Paul's no slouch in that Three Rivers Conference race.
Right.
There are 2 or 3 good teams right now that could potentially play spoiler. A St. Paul's team can come at you any night and pull off a good win. They did it to South Columbus a few years ago when South Columbus was rolling, heading toward the playoffs. Really took the starch out of that South Columbus team. You also have a Whiteville team with 1 loss in the conference. Really nipped at the heels, hoping one of these 2 teams, either East Bladen Falls again or South Columbus, to get back into that race. And again, East Bladen with only 1 loss, very, very dangerous.
Right, definitely true. So this one will wrap up, and we'll wrap up, and we will be back next week, and we will be down at Civitan for South Columbus versus St. Paul's. Have a good evening.